Hello, my loves. How are you? Our most recent stream of videos here on YouTube around celibacy, abstinence, sex, heroes, camos, astral sex has definitely brought to light a lot of different levels of distortion that we've experienced around these topics. It's even touched on some of the distortion around twin flames, what that means, what it could potentially mean. And these are definitely some topics that I want to address with you. I wanted to let you know really quick some of the questions that have been coming up have been around like astral sex and potentially dark energies and different things that people may be experiencing or not quite understanding. I recorded that this morning and I was guided to actually post it on Patreon for those that specifically feel guided to that content. And part of why that is because it's intended to bring awareness and to support for those who are needing it. It's about empowering yourself with that knowledge and energy if it is relevant for you and your situation. I may do more with that here on YouTube when I'm guided, but for right now, there's a lot that we've opened up here that I'm guided to talk to you about today. Okay. And as always, some of the main things that we do here on Harmonious Hearts is we talk about these topics because they're very layered. Okay. And I'm a firm believer that everything that we see or hear about in our world does have some levels of truth to it. Okay. And for the most part, but there's also a lot of distortion overlaying a lot of these topics. So, just I'm going to give you something like a simple, silly example is that, okay, car salesmen kind of have, say, this reputation, or there's the saying of like, oh, car salesman tactics. There's this old reputation around car salesmen perhaps being sort of grimy or trying to get over on you. Okay, I'm definitely not saying all car salesmen are like that. I'm just telling you it's one of those like common things that people sort of use, or it's a term that people relate to. But this is also a perfect example of a distortion. Have there been car salesmen that have been shady in the world? Of course. But are there really awesome car salesmen or women or people that really want to support you getting into the best car or the best price? I would agree that there are. So it's just like in anything in our world, okay? There is the true energetic vibration of the things that we're wanting. And then there is the distorted version. We as human beings are holding a variation of those within ourselves because of the fallen energy, because of the distortion, because of being guided away from ourselves and our truth. We forgot a lot of who we are and our truth, but it didn't go away. It isn't gone. And we're in this place of learning how to remember. So for me personally, I focus more on how something feels and I drop into trusting myself. And if I'm uncertain, then I wait until I'm certain before I choose to participate or not. It's really about getting comfortable with saying no, or I don't know, or I'm not sure yet, and giving yourself the space to truly drop in and to feel what feels true for you. And this goes with any circumstances. And so I'm going to dive into a question that came on the channel around twin flames. And it was a kind question that said, I'm confused when you're bringing this up because I've been told that the twin flame thing isn't really about a relationship. It's about finding that balance and harmony within yourself and learning to love yourself, and not so much about the relationship with the other person. And this is definitely part of the truth. And it's a very, very important part. But in my understanding, there's lots of different experiences and situations within this collective or term, okay? And another part that is true is that some people go through that initiation and they may never come into or choose not to come into a relationship with that person who initiated them. But there are also others who absolutely go through the initiation, and both of them go through the initiation and come back together in a harmonious union partnership state. Okay. And so for me, this twin flame term also has a lot of distortion within it, sort of like the car salesman, or even if we drop into what the general collective terms love. Okay. Because a lot of what the general collective believes love is, at a lot of the core of it, what's running it is codependence and conditional love, not necessarily real and true love. And so everything that we're navigating has layers of distortion within it. Okay. And it really boils down to getting to the truth of what these essences and energies of these terms mean and how they connect with you. So, the twin flame community term has a lot of distortion, okay? And this is because it's layered. And there are initially, when you're going through it and you're going through the dark night of the soul, there's a lot of distortion and trauma up in your system. So people witnessing you going through that could very easily just deem it as something toxic and bad and not healthy for you. But at the same time, as you're walking through it and transmuting it, it's actually helping you to burn away the distortion and get embodied into your truth. Now, there are also others who are going through relationships or are experiencing something that is more codependent. And there's sort of this toxic energy of going back and forth, but maybe not a lot of evolution with it. And it could be filled with a lot of projection onto the other person and not taking personal responsibility and sort of, like I said, again, blaming it on the other person or feeling like you're not able to get through it. And that part of it is, I think, why a lot of people stay away from or shy away from this term. Okay. And I get it. I understand it. I myself have questioned it myself for sure because of these processes. But there's different layers that we're seeing on our planet. So there's some people who are experiencing a relationship or a connection that they're not sure why it's so intense, but they're trying to understand it and they're terming it or deeming it as something like a twin flame, but it's not actually that. It's something else. It's still an opportunity to grow and learn. Okay. And then there's different situations where people are having a more authentic and genuine, full blown soul merge, soul experience. And the deeper they drop into their healing, and the more that they transmute, and the more that they detach, and the more they have zero need for that person or that partner to come back, more they're able to hold unconditional love for themselves and the other person, regardless of what they're choosing, is they've unraveled the expectations and the judgments and the projections, and they're taking full responsibility, no longer running or chasing or needing anything to be a certain way. And the connection is still present, and the love is still present. That is more where we're leaning into this potential of what many feel is a more aligned term of a twin flame, divine counterpart, whatever you want to call it, twin soul. And again, when we drop into it, what we call it may be less important than the essence and the energy, the opportunity, and what you are gaining from it in this information, in this experience. But we also live on this planet and we communicate a lot via words, language. And so To me, it's more important that we allow ourselves to become neutral around terms and really tap into the essence and the message and the energy of what someone is sharing. And that takes it back to your capacity to discern the differences, because you could have two or three different people in front of you talking about twin flames, and they're doing it from a completely different energy, a completely different perspective, and a completely different understanding. Okay. Now we could sit here and say, well, is one of them more right than the others? Well, in some levels, who are we to judge that? Because there's going to be different people that resonate with those three different messengers. Okay. And that is for a reason as well. In fact, many of you that are here with me may have resonated with other channels and other things in the past. And then you noticed as you evolved that your perspective started to change. I myself experienced that since way back in the day, first learning about this concept. And I even went through experiences of actually being like, "Oh, yeah, I don't even necessarily think it's real. It is about just dropping into yourself and loving yourself." And then as soon as I fully accepted that, lo and behold, I had this monster initiation that flipped my whole world upside down and taught me the next and deeper layer to that. Okay. So I'm speaking to you from experience, and I'm speaking to you from a state of feeling pretty stabilized in my internal union and stabilized in my connection in those unconditionally loving unity consciousness ways. Okay. And so that brings a completely different energy, because I can say the term twin flame to you and not have any attachment to what that means or how it plays out. For me, my higher self actually put me through the ringer at one point and took me to a place of being comfortable with actually owning the term without needing to attach it to any specific outcome. And the truth of the matter is that when I got there was when this channel started to grow. Okay. So we're also given these challenges and we're giving these experiences not to listen to everyone else, but to discover what is true for you. Because there might be someone else watching this right now, and what they're needing is to look at their situation and look at the energies and to ask for the truth for themselves, the truth of their situation and what they're needing to focus on. Are you unraveling your distortion? Are you unraveling expectation? Are you unconditionally loving yourself? Are you willing to look at the truth? Are you willing to look at the truth of who you are? Are you willing to learn the truth about your situation and your connection, regardless of what that outcome is? Are you willing to receive the information that that's not your counterpart? Are you willing to receive the information that it is? Okay, my loves, when you can drop into a neutral stance and when you can just accept things for what they are, it just is what it is. These connections have a purpose. And when you can just accept them for what they are as they are, it can be exceedingly empowering. And again, I think the most important part is these are here and they are present, and the distortion around it is present so that we can transmute it and actually find that true unconditional love within in the unity consciousness with another, which translates to unity consciousness on our planet. So, regardless of who or what this connection is to you, and what it ends up telling you in the long run, it has still served a beautiful purpose to support you in your evolution and ascension. So again, it's less important what terms we attach to. And it's about dropping into finding out your truth, what is true for you, being willing to unravel and dissolve the distortion, to resolve the untruths within you, to get into deeper states of integrity with yourself, and that truth is going to be revealed to you. That is one thing that I have really found so empowering when I have those moments of uncertainty, when I'm not clear. but there's still something present for me to learn. How you'll know there's still something for you to learn is because it will still be present. It'll still be there, regardless of how much everyone looks at you and tells you, just let it go. Why aren't you doing this? What? It's there because there is still something for you to learn. And accepting that is very empowering. It's that idea in this important empowerment of it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And there's not always one specific perspective that is the right way. It's really about your circumstances and your experiences and how you can apply them to yourself. Because in truth, if we're having a twin flame divine counterpart initiation, and we want to control it and say that it's only about you, right? Because in some cases it is, and that is a part of it. But then you will reach a point as you stabilize that internal union where you might start to feel a little bit stuck. And that may be your higher self pushing you to the next levels of your unity consciousness, which was first and foremost to accept yourself and to embody your internal union. And then as you evolve, some of the next steps may be to accept that you do have a divine counterpart. Okay, my loves, there's lots of different experiences and situations. It's really about getting comfortable with your truth, being willing to receive that regardless of the outcome, and knowing but as you find your truth and you discover what that is, it's going to feel supportive and in alignment for you. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Again, that other video around the darker energies and the astral sex and the sex and all of those things are over on Patreon if you want to go deeper into that. And we'll just let things continue to unfold. All right, loves. Hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.